everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about, well, books. I've got a huge haul that I want to share with all of you. These are some of the books that I've gotten in the past couple months, so I wanted to share those with you. Some of them I got from pre-ordering and they came in at the first of this month. Other ones I got when I went book shopping with my cousin. And then some of them I actually literally just got today and I'm super excited. Partly because I've already read the first one in the series and so far, pretty good. So let's go ahead and get started and talking about all the new books that I am excited to put on my shelf. So the first one I want to show off is The Bride by Ali Hazelwood, or I guess it's just called Bride. So this is Ali Hazelwood's first fantasy romance. So I'm very interested to see how she takes her contemporary romance and her STEM background to then write fantasy romance. So do I think it's going to be complex? Do I think it's going to have an amazing plot or whatever? I mean, not really, in my opinion, but I love Ali Hazelwood's writing just because it is easy to read. It's light. And, you know, to be quite fair, like, her writing for me is a real palate cleanser for a lot of, like, the long, complex books that I read. So, like, this is perfect to just pick up when you're in the mood, or if you're, I'm going to say, if you're going to be in a reading slump, Ali Hazelwood is perfect to get you out of that. So, I am really looking forward to reading this. From my knowledge, because I read the synopsis a long time ago and I haven't read it since, but basically it is about vampires and werewolves, and to remain a truce, a vampire and a werewolf have to get married to keep the truce, I guess, between their species. But that's all I know. And to me, I mean, bringing back vampires, werewolves, mortal enemies, turn lovers, like, that sounds great. So I'm super excited to read this. Look forward to a review on this because I'm definitely going to do one. Then the next one I want to show off is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. This one I picked up when I went book shopping with my cousin, along with The Bride by Ali Hazelwood. But I just absolutely love this cover. It doesn't have a dust jacket. It is, all the art is on the hard cover right here. You can see it. So I really liked that. I thought that was unique and really cool. But this basically takes place in a fantasy world, and it's like a mystery as well. So you've got your main detective, I believe her name's Anna. Yes, and she's very eccentric. She doesn't leave her house, and she always has a blindfold on. So how she can solve crimes like that, no idea, but she does it. And she has a assistant that goes to all the crime scenes and does basically all of her out of the house work. And his name is Den, and he's got a phenomenal memory. Like, basically he remembers everything. So if it takes 15 steps from this place to this place, he's gonna remember that. So he tells her everything, and then she kind of works it out that way. So basically they get called to a crime scene after somebody dies from a tree, like, bursting out of them, basically. So other than that, that's all I know. And I guess Din is keeping secrets too, so that's really interesting. But I've heard the world building in this is just absolutely fantastic. Raving reviews on this, so I am super excited to pick this up, and this will actually be my first book by Robert Jackson Bennett. I have yet to read his Foundry Side series, and I've heard that that's really good too. So if I like this, I'll probably start doing like picking up some of his backlisted works. So very excited. Another book I picked up on my little book shopping day with my cousin was The Will of the Many by James Islington. So I've heard some mixed reviews about this, but I think I'm gonna like it. Basically this guy, he wants revenge, and so that's what this book is through, about. He wants revenge. He has to like make sure people don't find out who he actually is, but then he also has to work to keep his will, and he doesn't want to give up his will. And I guess that is the magical part of this. It's like the elite people take the will of people in this universe to maintain power, I guess. So he goes to school and trials and all that stuff. From what I have heard, like, people are comparing it to Red Rising, just in that kind of a way, because he infiltrates. But it's not exactly like Red Rising. It just has the same like premise as that. But I've heard that it's slow. And I mean, some books, their pacings are slow, some they're not. So, but I think I'm going to be really intrigued with this just because of the political scheming, the character himself. So I'm very interested to pick this up, and hopefully soon, because I mean, I don't know, I have become like into more of that political fantasy. At least I'm starting to. So I want to pick more and more of those type of books up. So the next book we're going to talk about is actually the second book to the book that wouldn't burn. And it is the second one. It is a lot shorter. I pre-ordered this. This came in at the top of the month. Yeah, I don't remember what the first one is about, to be quite honest with you guys. But I absolutely adore this cover. So most likely what's going to happen is I'm going to be doing a marathon of both of these. Read the first one and then immediately go into the second one, especially if it's as good as I've heard it is. But I mean, why would you not like to read a book about books? Because it takes place in a library. I mean, it's got all kinds of stuff around books. So I've actually also never read anything by Mark Lawrence. So this series will be the first one I've picked up by him. I am not entirely sure what other series he's written in the past. So if I like him, I'll probably try to find some other books by him to pick up. But yeah, I'm in love with this cover. First off, blue is my favorite color. So just absolutely love it. But definitely looking forward to picking up not only the book that wouldn't burn, but also the book that broke the world by Mark Lawrence. Another pre-order that I got is Leigh Bardugo's newest book called The Familiar. I believe this is a standalone novel, and I mean, it's got the sprayed black edges. So I'm just gonna read the synopsis of this one for you because I really don't want to butcher it at all, just because it sounds so great. So this will be moving up in my TBR super soon to read. In a shabby house on a shabby street in the new capital of Madrid, Luza Cotato, ignore my pronunciations of names, they're so bad, uses scraps of magic to get through her days of endless toil as a scullion. But when her scheming mistress discovers that the lump of a servant cowering in the kitchen is actually hiding a talent for little miracles, she demands Luza use those gifts to better the family's social position. What begins as simple amusement for the nobility takes a perilous turn when Luza garners the notice of Antonio Perez, the disgraced secretary to Spain's king. Still reeling from the defeat of his armada, the king is desperate for any advantage in the war against England's heretic queen, and Perez will stop at nothing to regain the king's favor. Determined to seize this one chance to better her fortune, Luza plunges into a world of seers and alchemists, holy men and huskers, where the lines between magic, science, and fraud are never certain. But as her notoriety grows, so does the danger that her Jewish blood will doom her to the Inquisition's wrath. She will have to use every bit of her wit and will to survive, even if that means enlisting the help of Gullion Setangle, an embittered immortal familiar whose own secrets could prove deadly for them both. I mean, guys, like this. This is going to be good. It's going to have rich English, Spanish history. It's going to have magic. I think the familiar is a vampire, in my opinion. Like political backstabbing, scheming, possibly a love interest, maybe. But I mean, if this is anything like her Ninth House books, like, oh my god, love those. So this one, yes. Another one of my pre-orders that came in is the second one in the Nightshade Crown, and that's The Hemlock Queen by Hannah Whitten. The first book is called The Foxglove King. Yes, that first one has been on my TBR for a while, and I have yet to get to it. But now that I have the second one, I'm probably going to marathon these because, I mean, why not? Now, I don't know if there's going to be a third one or not, but I'm looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to the Foxglove King. So if I'm looking forward to that, I'm going to be looking forward to this. The only thing I don't like, and it makes me mad, is the uneven pages in the book. It's the only thing I don't like. And the Foxglove King has it too, and I know they did it for a reason, but it just, it drives me nuts. And I can't show it to you because it doesn't pick it up very well on the camera. But other than that, the cover is great. So if you know anything about the Foxglove King, I mean, that one just sounds phenomenal too. So to be quite honest, you guys, I don't remember what it is. It's sitting on my shelf over here. But I mean, this is the second one, so I don't want to tell you what this synopsis is because it'll ruin the first one. So you'll just have to pick it up and let me know if you like it or not. So the next book I picked up, and this was a recommendation from a friend of mine, is The Zodiac Academy. And so I've already read the first one. And the first one's called The Awakening. And this is by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valentine. So at first when I read this, I wasn't necessarily like loving it. And I don't know why, but then I was like looking in the back of the book because it has all of their works, and they classify the Zodiac Academy as bully romance. never read a bully romance before. But I have to tell you, it got really good at the end, like closer to the end, like over halfway through the book, I started really enjoying it. This is an adult series. And I guess I could say trigger warnings for bullying. I mean, the bullying that they do isn't like bad like anything that anybody would, you know, and they don't rape, they don't do that or whatever, but there's a lot of like mental and physical bullying, but not physical in the way that they get bloodied up or anything like that. But it is bullying. So just as a trigger warning for anybody, know that there's bullying in this book. I'm assuming there's going to be bullying in the rest of the series. How much? I'm not sure. But this is adult. Don't let your kids read this. Okay? Trust me, don't let them, because I read this already. So basically what this is about is you have these twins, and they found out that they're actually changelings. So their parents were the king and queen of Solaria, and there was a plot that endangered the girls. So their mother exchanged them for human girls with a family, twin girls or whatever. So finally, their 18th birthday, like 3 months turned 18 or whatever, a mysterious man follows Tori, who is one of the twins. It's Tori and Darcy. Follows Tori home and basically tells the girls, yeah, so you're from a different world and you're Fae, and we need to go to the Zodiac Academy, which is where most of this takes place, because it's a school. So they have been broke all their lives through foster care and all that stuff, and they were told that as long as they graduate from the Zodiac Academy, they will get their inheritance. Well, the girls are like, well, heck yeah, because they don't want to have to suffer the rest of their life like they have been. And basically, they come to the school. There's these heirs, 4 boys, that are heirs to the Solarian throne. Because right now their parents are heading it as a council. Well, they don't like that these girls have come and they think they're after the throne. Well, the problem is the girls don't want anything to do with the throne, but because of the Fae culture, it really doesn't matter. If you have the power to rule, if you're the most powerful, then you're going to rule, and that's it. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. So, yeah. But there's like a plot still to kill the girls. And so you see kind of that through here, and you get little like snippets of the mystery, which is going to go through the whole rest of the series. I guess there's like 9 books, and the 9th book comes out this month, April. I didn't pre-order it. I mean, I literally just picked this one up, and then I got 2, 3, and 4. And let me tell you, these just keep getting bigger and bigger. The first one was only a little over 400 pages. I mean, this is book 2, book 3, and book 4. They just keep getting bigger, which I mean is fine. I'm not gonna like mind, but yeah. So as soon as I get done reading the one book that I'm reading right now, I'm probably going to jump into number 2 because I need to know. I have all of these questions and I need to know what's going on. So I'll definitely keep you updated on my progress with Zodiac Academy. So the next 2 books we're going to talk about, I got in my April Book of the Month book box. And the first one I picked is A Short Walk Through a Wide World. This sounds really interesting. The premise kind of reminds me of Addie LaRue. And I have yet to read that one too. But basically, this girl, I think it's like she's cursed to die. Yeah. So she begins to bleed to death randomly. And medical attention just makes it worse. So what she has found is she has to keep moving. She can't stay in one place too long. She can never go back to that place. So this story is about her traveling through the world, trying to live her life, because if not, she'll die. And she starts this at like a young age. So this is I believe a magical realism genre book. It sounds really interesting to me. So I'm very interested to pick this up. Plus it's not super long, which means like, I can get through it pretty quickly. And I mean, the cover is just absolutely gorgeous. It's got mountains, it's got cities, it's got ships, it's got all like the different types of places that she is gonna go on her journey. So I'm very excited to see how this book turns out. Oh, and it is by Douglas Westerbeek. So, very excited. Then the other book I picked up from Book of the Month is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is a romance book. You've got to have them. They're great palate cleansers. But basically, this is about 2 people who think they are cursed because every time they date somebody and then they break up, that person finds their true love, like right after. So, these 2 decide, well, hey, if we're both cursed, let's try fake dating, and maybe after we break up, we will find the person we're meant to be with. But then it really turns into, well, maybe they're supposed to be together. So I'm very excited. I love this cover, partly because there's a cute little dog. Do you see that? Oh, it's so cute. But yeah, I'll definitely be picking this one up soon. I've gotta have those romance palette cleansers in my TBR just because I have so many long books and so many complex books. So very excited to read this. Final books I would like to show off to you guys today is actually I bought the completed series, and I bought this while I was out shopping with my cousin several weeks ago, and that is the City of Brass series by S.A. Chakraborty. I apologize if I butchered that because I definitely did. So basically you have the City of Brass, the Kingdom of Copper, and the Empire of Gold. I believe, yes, this is the 3rd one. So it is a trilogy, and I like am super excited to read these. I've heard great things about it. This one is super political schemy, like super political schemy, twists, turns. Like, what I have been told is this reminds people of Game of Thrones political scheming. So I am gonna read the back for you, just because I think it'll be better than me trying to rambly explain it. So here we go. On the streets of 18th century Cairo, Nari is a con woman of unsurpassed skill. She makes her living swindling Ottoman nobles, hoping to one day earn enough to change her fortunes. But when Nari accidentally summons Dara, an equally sly, darkly mysterious jinn warrior, during one of her cons, she learns that even the cleverest of schemes can have deadly consequences. Forced to flee Cairo, Dara and Nari journey together across hot, windswept sands teeming with creatures of fire and rivers where the mythical Marids sleep. Past ruins of one magnificent human metropolises and mountains where the circling birds of prey are more than what they seem, to Davbrad, the legendary city of brass. It's a city steeped in magic and fire, where blood can be as dangerous as any spell. A city where old resentments run deep and the royal court rules with a tenuous grip. A city to which Nahri is irrevocably bound, and where her very presence threatens to ignite a war that has been simmering for centuries. What else am I to say to that? Like, that sounds amazing. This will definitely be a back-to-back reading experience for me. I've got so much I need to read this year, though. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit it in, but it will be on my TBR here soon. Well, I guess it's on my TBR, but it's a little back more. So very excited that I finally am putting these on my shelf. I mean, they're gorgeous. I just love them. All right, guys. Well, those are all of the books that I have to show off today, that I've recently picked up to go onto my shelf. So let me know what kind of books you've recently picked up. If you've picked up any of these and if you've read them already and what your thoughts are, I would absolutely love to know. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and be good people.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost,